Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wrestling Tracks.
Welcome, everybody, tonight to Wrestle Track. Apologize for the little delay. Had a little technical difficulty. But we're on the show tonight, on live from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I want to thank the producer of the show, Mr. Lee Houston, for giving us the opportunity to come on tonight to share and talk to the world about wrestling. And what a night did we have in wrestling on tonight. We found out that about who's going to be the commissioner, not the general manager, but the commissioner overall, who's going to be the commissioner over SmackDown. I want to again thank everybody for tuning in and listening on tonight. We're going to talk about a little bit about Raw tonight. We'll talk about wrestling in general and express our love for wrestling as a whole. Now, as I alluded to on tonight, Big Daddy, Vince Kennedy McMahon, came on to talk about who's going to be the commissioner of Raw, who's going to be the commissioner of SmackDown. And much to the surprise of everybody, he made Shane McMahon commissioner of SmackDown Live. And he made his baby girl, Stephanie McMahon, commissioner of Raw. To me, if I was one of the wrestlers, I would be praying and hoping that I get drafted by Shane O'Mac and go work exclusively on SmackDown Live. Now, I wonder, are they going to have separate champions? You know, if Dean Ambrose do retain the title, it'll be interesting to see if he's still on Raw, because Stephanie McMahon don't like him as being a WWE champion. If Stephanie gets the belt, then could see Shane McMahon one up in the ante to show off to his sister that, look, you got a champion and I'm going to have a champion. We're going to bring back the World Heavyweight Champion. And, you know, I can see Shane O'Mac creating a little mini tournament to crown a new champion at pay-per-view in the future. Gonna be classic. And we're gonna take our first little commercial break. Tonight is being brought to you live by The Secret Life of Pets, the movie in theaters. All right, The Secret Lives of Pets, coming out this summer. A great movie. Can't wait to take my kids to go and see that. Now back to wrestling. As we said, Stephanie McMahon is going to be taking over as commissioner of Raw, and Shane McMahon is going to take over as commissioner of SmackDown Live. Starting next week, SmackDown Live. And we're going to have the draft, I believe, on SmackDown Live next week. Next week's going to be an exciting week of wrestling. Can't wait. Now, also, it's just been revealed that Randy Orton will be returning to WWE at Battleground. Wow. Can't wait to see the Viper back. Great to see him get back and get that ring rust off before his big match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Now, we don't know what he'll be doing at Battleground. Is he going to wrestle? Is he just going to come in? We don't know. But it'll be great to see him back on TV. He by far is one of the great wrestlers pure wrestlers that we have. Had one of the greatest finishing moves in the history of the WWE with the KO. Uh, Sorry about that. Um, Again, it'd be great to see Randy Orton back. To see what he can do in the is he gonna get in the ring? No, just seeing him back, seeing him on TV, seeing his presence out there, it's gonna be a big game changer. I may do a little quick in ring thing. Who knows? And really, quite frankly, nobody really cares. They just want to see Randy Orton before he make it back to SummerSlam, which he gonna get a killer pop when he come out. Man, it's gonna blow. The crowd is gonna blow up. The crowd is gonna just go crazy when they see him. Um, Now, like I said, tonight Raw was a great Raw. They had a battle royal for the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship, and I don't know if anybody else was surprised like me, but I was frankly surprised that Darren Young won and getting a shot at the Miz at the Intercontinental title. As we've been watching Darren Young and Bob Backlund going back and forth talking about make Darren great again, Bob Backlund said that he need a submission move, and he gave him the cross-face chicken wing. So if he wins the belt with that move, wow, it's gonna be a game breaker. It's gonna be a game changer. We're gonna see what direction they go with that. Now, also tonight we've seen Sheamus and Zack Ryder had a quick little match on tonight. That Sheamus won with a bro kick. It was quite interesting seeing what's going on with that. We all seen Rusev come out and beat up Zack Ryder after he accepted his challenge, which I don't know what direction they're gonna go with that. Could he pull off the upset like Umaga losing his Intercontinental title to Santino Marella? You never know. I'm getting tired of seeing Rusev win and do his little victory yell and all that afterwards and stuff. They had chance to have a great rivalry between him and Mark Henry, and just letting somebody like that, a rookie, come in and squash a veteran that deserved better than that. I didn't like that too much. I felt that it should have been a back and forth rivalry, much like the Big Show and Mark Henry, which is to me one of the greatest big man world heavyweight rivalries to date. I mean, you had two big men that could put on a great match. They put on a great match, had a great rivalry, drew you in every time they came out and talked. Mark Henry, had his arm injury, but Mark Henry, supposedly shattered the Big Show ankle. Then he came back and got revenge against him. Then he supposedly shattered Mark Henry wrist and all that. And then with Mark Henry, when he made the back of that World Heavyweight title like that red snakeskin red, oh, bruh. Man, I love that. I love it. That was, to me, a great rivalry back in the day. I think they should have gave them more time. Only thing I really hated about it was letting Daniel Bryan come in and get that wimpy win over Big Show, and then Daniel Bryan slip out the cage match when they had the triple threat match, triple threat cage match for the title. I'm like, oh, come on. Y'all should have just, somebody lay down and let him get the pin before he touched the ground or something. Come on now. I really wanted to see the Big Show get the title back. And I don't know too many people know this fact about the Big Show, but the Big Show is the only person to hold the WWE, the World Heavyweight Champion, WWE, WCW, and ECW Championship. And he also held the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, and the ECW Championship. That's that's a wild moment in itself. I don't know. I think Kane. I think Kane might have did that. No, Kane didn't win the WCW. Kane just won the WWE World Heavyweight Champion and the ECW title. But the Big Show, only person held the WCW, WWE, and ECW heavyweight title. Yeah. He held the WCW tag team belt and the WWE and World Heavyweight tag belt. Big Show held just about every title out there. And I was, happy he got his WrestleMania moment the year he won the IC title at WrestleMania. One of the most underrated performers of all time. To me, clearly didn't get a strong heel run like he should have. Even though he held the WWE title for a good, run in the Attitude Era. After he came in as Paul White and slowly went into the Big Show. When he came over from WCW, that was almost like, Hall and Nash came over and formed the NWO. It was something that unexpected happened. And, when you see stuff like that back in the day, which you didn't see that much, man, it was a game changer that, made you kind of almost tune in. For a while when I found out WCW replayed, I watched WWF and then watched the replay of WCW. But then when I found out they shortened it, I had to make a decision. And I was like, well, holla at you later, WWF. And then I found out WWF had a midnight showing on Saturday night. So I was like, okay, I'll just stay up and watch the replay. I tried to tape some before they had DVRs. You had to use the VCR to tape some stuff. So I used my VCR to tape one while I watched the other one. Man, I got so many wrestling shows on tape that, man, I don't know anybody else, but I literally, when they started coming out with wrestling video games, I've brought every single WWF wrestling game that came out. I only got maybe one or two at WCW, but every single WWF wrestling game that came out from the first SmackDown, SmackDown 2, then went to SmackDown versus Raw. One of my favorite nicknames that I love, I use for all my wrestlers, Mr. Showtime, I got from WWF SmackDown. Man, classic game. Back in the Rock, using a rock bottom and to make create a character. My first finishing move I had was the People's Elbow. Slammed him down, set him up just right, and I hit him with it. This was back in the day. Rock was so cool, laying down the SmackDown that he came up with the name for the show, WWE SmackDown, or back in the day, WWF SmackDown. The Raw with Rock was that cool back in the day. Man, I was in love with wrestling so much. I set my schedule almost around wrestling. I tried to set up my choir rehearsal where I wouldn't even miss it. And if I did have it on the day of wrestling, I tried to set it up where I can, that I didn't want to do nothing on a Monday night, nothing. Monday night was my night off. I'll do anything else outside of that. Very rarely, maybe like a revival or something, but I planned, even when I worked regular jobs, I had to have Monday night off. I'll work any other nights for you, but I need my Monday nights off. To this day, when I did security jobs, once I found out Hulu Plus, you can go on there and watch, the replay of Raw and SmackDown and Superstars and watch NXT. Oh, man, I was on board. That didn't bother me paying that $7.99 a month. I was on board. And it really, NXT is real great for wrestling. To me, NXT is so good, it can branch off to its own stuff. They went and took NXT on the road for a little while, and then they went back to the Performance Center, which, to me, that's great. One thing that TNA messed up when they tried to go around and travel, they should have stayed in the Impact Zone in Orlando. It was great for tourists when they came to Orlando. Had a place where they can come and watch live wrestling. Then you didn't have to worry about paying no money, going different places. I mean, like, for big pay-per-views, yeah, go to different places, go to different big arenas like Slammiversary, your big four pay-per-views, But other than that, have all your pay-per-views and everything should have stayed at the Impact Zone. That's what they, big mess up. When TNA went to the six-sided ring, loved it from the get-go. I mean, and then you can see the high flyers, the six-sided ring gave them so much extra things that they can do. Christopher Daniels with the BME, man, one of the most underrated, one of the greatest independent wrestlers to ever. When they brought in Samoa Joe, when I first saw him, I'm like, where did this dude come from? Man, I can't believe I missed seeing Samoa Joe on the independent scene. One wrestling that I wish I could have seen more of back in the day was Ring of Honor wrestling. Ring of Honor have some of the greatest matches that I went back and seen. They brought up so many great wrestlers: Daniel Bryan, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, CM Punk. Even rejuvenated the career of their current champion. What's his dude's name? Jay Lethal. And when I seen him in TNA, I'm like, Jay Lethal is a great wrestler that TNA really not using him to his full potential. Jay Lethal had a whole lot of potential in the when he was in TNA, when he won the X Division title from Kurt Angle. I mean, even though a lot of people felt Kurt Angle was going to dominate, he gave Kurt Angle a great match. They allowed him to have a great wrestling match with Kurt Angle. When he was doing the Black Machismo and had him, his finish move was the top rope elbow. I was like, okay, it's okay, but they could do so much with him. And I went and seen some of the videos of his new finish move, the lethal injection. I was like, yes, that would elevate your career when you find that right finish move, and one move that the whole crowd, wait to see. It's a move that you can pull off maybe one or two times, maybe three or four times in a match. But the first time they see it in a match, they be like, oh, it's over. One of my favorite finishing moves, which to me I would love, I would make for my wrestlers a regular move, was the power bomb. Man, growing up, I said if somebody made me mad, I'm a power bomb them through a table. Oh man, I said I would power bomb somebody through a table. That was my favorite move when I seen it. Sid Vicious. Oh man, he had the greatest power bomb. Scott Hall had the jackknife power bomb. Who else had it? Had a couple other people, but nobody to me was as good as Sid Vicious or Sid Justice. To me, that was a great wrestler when up until they made him jump off the top rope when he really didn't want to, and he wasn't trained to do it. He jumped off the top rope and broke his leg in the middle of a world heavyweight title match, and I felt bad for him then. I'm like, man, y'all just messed up a great wrestling career. Man, I saw it when it happened. I was watching that match, and I'm like, he was a great bad guy. Great ring psychologist. Put on great matches, and I loved his power bomb. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh man. But if people would have thought about that beforehand, if they knew that probably would have happened, they wouldn't have told him to get up there. I mean, he didn't need to go up to the top rope, but I guess they want to see more big men go up to the top rope and do more moves. But He did make a little mini comeback on the independent scene, um, and he finished off his career, which I believe Sid Vicious did justice. He deserved a spot in the Hall of Fame. He put on some great matches against Undertaker in his prime. He put on some great matches against a lot of WWE wrestlers before Stone Cold came up. Man, wrestling in the late 90s, early 2000s was great. Wrestling is getting back great again. We have an up-and-coming wrestler named Kevin Owens, who is being a true heel. I mean, this dude know how to get into people's skin just by looking at him. There were reports they were thinking about putting him in a match against Brock Owens, which I would love to see that match. I don't know how many of you out there think about that, but I would love to see a match between Kevin Owens and Brock. That's, to me, would be a great match there. I can't wait to see them put that on. It'll probably be either a Survivor Series and maybe holding off all the way up until WrestleMania next year. I don't know. But I can't wait to see what they're going to do with him. He turned out to be a great heel. And I expect to see him with a main event title run sooner than later. Be interesting to see if he can survive going to Suplex City. During the 4th of July episode, when I see him put Mark Henry in the pop-up powerbomb, I was like, the commentary said he can't do it. And then he did. I was like, jaw drop. I'm like, what? I'm like, yes, indeed. I mean, and when I first seen his finish move, the pop-up powerbomb, like with any new wrestlers, you're interested in seeing what's going to be their finishing move. And like I just said, the powerbomb is one of my favorite moves of all time, finisher or not. And when I seen that, I'm like, okay. The next WWE 2K game I get that he's in it, that's going to be my first finishing move for my first creative wrestler. And I did use that. And, I mean, wow. Speaking of WWE 2K17, my favorite wrestler of all time, which my little bro Lee, cannot understand, and I really don't care if he understands or not, Goldberg is going to be back in the game again. I remember when Goldberg came to WWE early 2000, and they had him in the Raw versus SmackDown game. I kid you not. I went online, brought me a PS2, and brought me the wrestling game, and waited like it was Christmas for that game to come in. And when I got my game in, I played it non-stop for the next 24 hours. I stayed up for a few hours to make me a wrestler, gave him Goldberg moves. Then I went and played as Goldberg. Then I went and played with Goldberg as my teammate with my created character. Oh, man. That's how much I love Goldberg. When Goldberg was in Unlockable Character a few years ago, man, I made sure I found out where and went and unlocked him. Of all time, that is my favorite wrestler. As I stated before, I got popped upside in my head by my mama by not going out taking out the trash because I wanted to sit and watch Goldberg put the Big Show, known as the Giant back then, in the jackhammer. To see him lift him up, I mean, I was just wanted to see if he's going to do it, then to see him do it. And, I mean, he did not do it just once. He did it about 4 or 5 times. See Goldberg lift somebody up and then drop him down. When Goldberg hit that spear, oh, man, I seen one time he was just the Brooklyn Brawler. He did the spear, and then when he did his jump to shake the rope, he stepped on him, and you saw Brawler's leg go up. I'm like, no, he didn't step on him. He stepped on him. I was no good after that. I was laughing hard. I'm like, oh, pro brawler. And then he lifted him up. I remember the first match, seeing him going against Hugh Morris. And, I didn't think nothing much of him when they introduced him to Bill Goldberg. I said, okay, he got a nice look. But then as the match go on, you saw his moves and the fierceness of it and how he took him out and dismantled him and handled him with no fanfare and no pop. I was like, I'm sold. I want to see every match. When I say I watched every single one of those 127, I believe, wins, I watched every one. He was the main reason why I ordered pay-per-view, just so I can see him. And, I mean, when he was world champion, uh, I hated it that he was relegated to being like not the main event. They didn't really give him, he didn't have really a lot of big game matches. No, big matches. Diamond Dallas Page was like the biggest match he had. And what made that so big was they had certain tag matches where it showed that, DDP can hang with Goldberg. I mean, to see Goldberg defend against, Mr. Perfect, nothing against Mr. Perfect, but he wasn't main event caliber for, I mean, I want to see Goldberg, Hogan didn't want to wrestle too much. They said a lot of people didn't want to wrestle because he wrestled too sloppy and this and that. Goldberg wrestled against Big Show, that was main event caliber. But that Hall, Kevin Nash, put more matches on like that. That was, the downfall of WCW. One of the things that they, going through. I just wish they could have, just gave him more, more great matches. Did more, set up more good matches for him. They had him second hour type matches, not third hour type matches, not even the match before the main event. Some of them wasn't even, they was worth just being on the first match of the card. But again, like I said, that was part of the downfall of WCW. When you have a champion, you have challenger. You need to pump up, push and build up a worthy challenger for the champion. Build them up so that when people see them, they want to tune in to see it. And, if you have a champion that look invincible, build up characters that people would think, like Ming. People would love to see Ming and Goldberg go at it, just to see. I believe they did have matches too. But, early, it's just to see. Can the Ming is unstoppable. Can he stop Goldberg, though? Goldberg is unstoppable. Who's going to stop who? Is anybody going to do anything? A perfect, that could have been a perfect rivalry, had first match, good long-going match. And at the end, they brawl, they both go out the ring and brawl, double counter. Okay, look, we can't end it like that, so we're going to bring it back the next, fall count, anywhere or something like that, and, no holds barred, hardcore, some kind of match, cage match, let them go at it again. Somebody may come and interfere or something, and something happen to stop it. And then, have, one last match, Goldberg take them out at the end, finally, crack the code of me, something like that. Excuse me, folks. That would make great, would make great wrestling matches, would make great rivalries. That's why I believe, you build somebody up. Okay, we're going to choose, we're going to work you up and build you up. Going to be a great mid-card wrestler. You have something that you bring them up the ranks that you're going to use to push them up like a Ryback to be a big force, to be a challenger for the champion that might not win it. While you're building somebody else up and, bring them up like you did Ultimate Warrior, bring them up through the ranks, you take your time and you work your way up, you win the Intercontinental title, then you have a long run, and then, you get a build up a big fan base, and then they put you against Hulk Hogan. And then you finally win the belt, and then you finally make it to the top of the mountain. Somebody like that, somebody like Randy Savage who come up through, somebody like Bret Hart who start off in a great tag team, work his way up, win the tag belt, break off the great singles career, win the Intercontinental title, the European Championship or whatever, and then finally get up to winning the WWF championship. And somebody like Shawn Michaels worked their way up, winning the European, the Intercontinental, winning tag team gold. And then, you're showing off that you want to win and finally get the chance to make it to the big league. You're part of big boy status now. You win the WWE title, bring somebody up, you build them up. As you bring them up, you build them up, allow them to come up. You have somebody going to be, your mid-card major players, then your big-time main event players. And every now and then you have that diamond out the gym, that one person, an unexpected person that come out of nowhere and moves up and wins the belt, or come up and prove that he can win it. And then you give him a run to see if he can, how he can handle it. And then he move on up and win. That's what happened with Stone Cold. Nobody thought Stone Cold was going to blow up like he did. But when he coined the moniker, Stone Cold 316, says, I just whooped your candy tail. Then you know what? Bam, you got to start and make it right there. Triple H came up, started off as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and then came in at DX and transformed his character and turned into a major player when he won the Intercontinental title, had his big rivalry with The Rock. Him and The Rock elevated their game to go from the Intercontinental Championship rivalry to a WWE Heavyweight Championship rivalry. Come on now. Big-time players. Man, that's what I'm talking about. Big-time players. And speaking of time, we thank y'all for just tuning in on tonight. Join in for the next wrestling podcast. We see who our big-time producer Lee is going to have as our next host. I thank y'all for tuning in on tonight, listening to me talk about wrestling and Raw. Next week, SmackDown Live on the 19th. Raw SmackDown, Stephanie McMahon. SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon. It is going to be Commissioner Shane McMahon. It is going to be awesome. It is going to be great. Oh, man, I can't wait to see who's going to be drafting where, what champion is going to be where, what's going to happen. Will they break up the New Day? What's going to happen? Where we're going to see what they're going to do and what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see. But again, tune in to the next episode of Wrestle Track. We thank you for tuning in on tonight, and